Hey everyone, I am Anthony Scott of ToyHypeUSA.com. Today we're going to review the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze movie figures, Tokka and Rahzar 2-pack from NECA Toys. This was exclusively available at the NECA store as a pre-order during July-August 2020. And for those of you that placed that pre-order, these are just starting to ship and already in most of the fans' hands that pre-ordered these figures. I also want to thank NECA Toys for providing this for review. We greatly appreciate that. So these figures are from the 1991 movie, which was the sequel to the 1990 movie. And what's one of the most memorable things about that the sequel movie are these two characters that Super Shredder created to combat the Turtles. Tokka is a snap turtle and Rahzar is a wolf that he had mutated with a stolen can of mutagen to create a couple of mutants that could combat the Turtles, since he was nearly killed at the end of the first movie. That's a spoiler alert, sorry about that. So the figures are packaged in the standard window box packaging for the line. You have great artwork. They're really killing it with the presentation of the figures, other than the figures itself, pretty much. So there's a look there. And here's a look at Tokka's side of the packaging. You have a look at the figure there, the Ninja Turtles logo, NECA's logo. And there's a look at Rahzar's side of the packaging. The back of the packaging gives you a series of photography, giving you a look at the figures, many of their accessories there. It's even on the lower right there, it says express yourself, includes articulated facial features, which is pretty cool. You have a look at Tokka and Rahzar with the turtles there. You see that Rahzar's holding the donut, which we're going to look at. Here's a look at the top of the box. You have Tokka and Rahzar figure images right there. Along with the Ninja Turtles logo, you have the Nickelodeon logo, as well as NECA's logo. And the bottom of the packaging gives you the names of all the great people at NECA Toys that bring these figures together. These are some of the most talented people in the industry, and I love how NECA always gives them credit on the bottom of pretty much all of their releases, the packaging. That's something very special that they do. And here's a look at the tray shot for Tokka and Rahzar. These figures are so phenomenally done that they almost look like they just walk out of a screen. So these are pretty much the best interpretations that you will ever buy in your lifetime. The figures are in a plastic tray along with all their accessories, 3 sets of interchangeable hands. You see the donuts there, Tokka's pipe, Rahzar's shield, there's a fire extinguisher, there's the box of the donuts, a can of mutagen from TGRI. So we'll be looking at all of that in this review. Following the film in 1993, they made a single appearance in the classic cartoon series. This was in the 7th season, again in 1993, in the episode Dirk Savage, Mutant Hunter, where they made a very brief appearance in the series. The episode was okay, but I definitely recommend watching it. This episode also aired 2 years after their vintage figures came out, which were also in 1991. So that's an interesting fun fact as well. Even before I started this review, I reached out to NECA Toys and asked them, are there any plans to offer a new pre-order for these figures, or to give people the option to buy them in the event that they missed the pre-order last summer. Right now, there are no current plans to do that, but again, this is a company that loves their fans. They love this brand. They love what they do. They want to get the figures into your hands. So if you haven't had a chance to buy these figures through the pre-order, my suggestion would be to hit up NECA Toys on social media, Facebook, Twitter, things like that, and just ask them very nicely to please bring these figures back so you can buy them. If enough people do that, I would say the odds are pretty good to get reissues, and that would make a lot of people happy. So I'm going to open these up and let's take a closer look. Hey guys, so here's your in-hand look at Tokka and Rahzar. These figures are so incredibly detailed that they almost look like they just walk out of a screen and right into your living room or in the theater when you were watching the film. These are so incredibly done, just as we've seen NECA do each and every one of their turtle releases, as well as movie and television inspired figures. It's just continued to amaze me how much detail and really realistic sculpting and deco that they're able to do these days. So back at Toy Fair, we saw these figures in hand, and it really just blew me away. I mean, just look at all this great, incredible detail. Again, the likenesses are just superior to anything I thought possible. They really went out of their way to offer fans something special here. So both these guys are big and bulky. They were designed to fight and defeat the turtles, which is pretty much what they did in the film, which is why the turtles had to come up with the capsule and the doughnuts to try to turn them back into their demutative state, which is ultimately what happened to Tokka and Rahzar in the film. But I think the creation of these two characters in the film was really a success. These are two of the most memorable Turtles villains of all time. They're definitely a lot tougher than Bebop and Rocksteady. However, they're not exactly known for their brains. So when I think it was Rahzar got uncharacteristically suspicious, he crushes the donut in his hand and he sees the pill there. That was like, whoa, when did he get smart? So that was a little bit weird part of the film. The film itself had a lot of mixed reviews, and I thought it was okay, but again, I think Tokka and Rahzar really were two of the best characters in the film, and these figures really give you perfect representations of the movie-like appearances. So as you can see there's a tremendous amount of sculpting and deco going on there. Words can't explain enough just how awesome these came out. NECA has truly nailed the likeness here, really given you something truly high-end, just as we've seen today's action figure style. And let's look at the back. So Tokka's shell right there has all that sculpted detail, as we've seen the turtle shells themselves. However, it also has spikes at the end. There's many different spikes on there, and they're also a little bit sharp, but also a little bit on the bendy side. But just be aware, this is fragile, so it's really for adult collectibles, so just be careful with it. Tokka here has his armor. These are real chain links, as you see my thumb moving them around a little bit, which is a very cool addition here. The chest armor, this can move a little bit, as you see me playing around with it. And they have, he has his armor, his shoulder pads, his forearm pad right there, bandages around his wrists, knee pads here with little spikes that are also a little bit bendy. There's also little spikes here. He's got knee pads here, which are in the same texture as the shoulder pads. These things are pretty cool, and you see that. See something a little bit different on the other side here. These are more flat, while these have a pattern in the front there. So the pattern on the knee pads is also a little bit different. And there's a look there. Tokka also has sculpted fur. which you should be able to see on camera. Every little bit is sculpted, and they did a very nice job on it. Tokka himself. Just look at all that great sculpted detail there. There's so much to love about this character here. He comes with bandages around his forearms there, elbow pads, gloves with fingers coming through, knee pads there. There's just so much attention to detail here. Spikes on his shoulders there. There's definitely a lot to love here. Let me give you a closer look at the shell. So there's all that great sculpted detail here going on with the shell, just as we've seen NECA do with the Turtles figures themselves. So one interesting thing about Tokka is that he has articulated eyebrows, which move. You can move those all the way up, and it gives him kind of like a different facial expression, which is pretty cool. You can have one up, one down. I kind of think that's a really neat little feature here. The nose here is articulated, and as well as the jaw. So you can move the jaw a little bit down or all the way down as shown. Rahzar also has a hinged jaw, which is pretty cool. You can move that all the way down, revealing the inside of his mouth here. Let's move it over. So there's a look at that. Look at that disgusting interior of the mouth. It looks realistic. Looks like he hasn't brushed in a long time, but incredible amount of detail there. Check that out. And here's a closer look at Tokka. You see the tongues, the teeth. It's definitely a lot to love here. So I cannot express how awesome these figures look, and of course you got to bring on the accessories when you offer figures that look like this. Included is an assortment of accessories inspired from multiple scenes from the film. Each figure comes with 3 sets of interchangeable hands, which I'm going to show you as I give you a closer look at all these accessories here. Included is Rahzar's Hubcap shield, a wooden post. Tokka comes with his pipe, fire extinguisher. There's the can of TGRI Ooze canister that's originally came with Super Shredder. You also have the Doughnut Box that the Turtles hand Tokka and Rahzar, open it up, and you see donuts inside, which you also see donuts sculpted together there. And then there's one donut sculpted separately, and you see the little mutation reversal pill right there in the middle. And here's a look at Tokka's pipe. It is painted in a metallic silver with a black wash, which makes it look realistic. And I also put on one set of his interchangeable hands. The pipe can be held in 1 or 2 hands. And here's a look at Tokka holding the pipe in both hands. And here's a look at the fire extinguisher. It doesn't really fit in his hands. You really have to rest it on there. But he does hold it fairly well, and they did a very nice job painting and sculpting it. You see the label there in white, which doesn't say anything. And he can even hold the hose part, or more like it's rested in his hand there. And here's a look at Rahzar's Hubcap shield and wooden post, which you see there. They did really a phenomenal job on there. The shield is painted very similar to the armor, metallic silver with a bit of a rustic paint deco applied to it, just as you see on the armor on the chest there. And of course the post looks like tree bark. They did a phenomenal job sculpting it and painting it. It looks just like a realistic bark of tree. And as you see here, there's another look at the shield, but you also see all that great attention to detail on the post there. That's really nicely done, looks realistic. And the other side looks like the exterior of the tree. So that as well is very nicely done. And here's a look at the TGRI can of mutagen, which is a reissue. As I'm sure you're aware, it first came with Super Shredder that I reviewed late last year. The can, very nicely done. It's painted in metallic silver, some green, and the lettering is in black there. Tokka and Rahzar also come with the box of donuts that the turtles try to trick them into eating, so they would revert back to their demutative states. This box is made of paper, and the donuts can fit inside, which is pretty cool. The outside of the box, you see the Simply Donuts logo, and it's painted in a kind of like a pinkish purple color there with yellow text right there, which is very nicely done. Tokka and Rahzar can't actually hold the box, but it can more like rest on their hands there. And here's a look at the donuts that I put inside. One donut is missing, which they took out of the box to eat, squished it, and saw the pill inside. The donuts look realistic. There's powdered sugar on there. I think they did a very nice job on this. In Rahzar's hand is the donut that he squashed, and he sees the pill inside, which again would turn them into their demutative states. The donut fits in his hand very well, and as you can see there, you see the pill right in the center there, which also looks like it did right in the movie. I think they did a very nice job on this. And here's another look at Tokka and Rahzar. Rahzar with his hubcap shield, wooden post, and Tokka with his metal pipe there. And here's a comparison with Super Shredder, which was released last year, 2020. All three of the figures, they go great together. Super Shredder is taller than them. So scale-wise, it definitely works, while Tokka and Rahzar are a little bit more bulkier. The likenesses, they're really doing a phenomenal job with this line, as you see here. And here we have a look at the backs of the four turtles, just as they're about to take on Tokka and Rahzar. Interestingly enough, in the movie, they didn't use their iconic weapons, which you saw in the first film they used against the Foot Clan a number of times. And from what I've read, this was to keep it a little less dark, which I don't think it necessarily worked. I think they should have been allowed to use their iconic weapons. When you go up against two gigantic mutants like Tokka and Rahzar, you need every little edge you can get, and they did have to fight Tokka and Rahzar as the donuts wasn't enough to bring them down. So that was more like a fist fight, martial arts fist fight, as compared to using their iconic weapons, such as Donatello's bow staff, Leonardo's katanas, Michelangelo's nunchucks, and Raphael's sais. Here's a look at Tokka and Rahzar fighting the four turtles. In this segment of the video, I have the accessories in the turtle hands, but as I specified earlier in the movie, the turtles didn't use their iconic accessories, and that was to make the movie a little less dark or whatever, so I find that a little silly. So I put the accessories in their hands for the photo shoot and video segment of this review. And as you see there, scale-wise, everything else, Tokka and Rahzar fit perfectly against the turtles. It looks just like it did in the film, and I think they did a phenomenal job. And here's another shot for you guys. As you can see, Tokka is really making a mess of Raphael here, squashing him on the floor like that. I said scale-wise before, these work perfectly, and you can really see the attention to detail here. Tokka, in my opinion, came out is my favorite of the two, with those spikes on the shell and everything, the paint applications, there's really a lot to love about them. As much as I love Rahzar, Tokka's my favorite of the two, and Rahzar, of course, looks great. I love the armor on him. The chain links on his back and around the sides, those work very well. Very happy to have it. The shield, what I didn't show you guys before, was that it has handles on the back, and interestingly enough, these are loose. So you really just place the shield in the hand there and over the forearm. It doesn't, you don't have to put it through, which I think it cuts down on any breakage concerns fans might have. So that's a really good thing there. And here's another comparison for you guys with the cartoon versions of Bebop and Rocksteady and the 1991 Ninja Turtles movie, Tokka and Rahzar figures that I'm reviewing in this review. This is a comparison that you don't normally see very often. As I'm sure you're aware, Bebop and Rocksteady, they were the dim-witted duo from the classic cartoon, while Tokka and Rahzar, also being a bit dim-witted, they were muscle. They were able to take on the turtles themselves, beat them up, while Rocksteady and Bebop pretty much never could. So there's a pretty big difference there between the characterizations. Tokka and Rahzar are also, these figures, they're bigger, they're bulkier, so they definitely, and they look a bit more badass compared to Rocksteady and Bebop. And here's another comparison for you guys with Leonardo and Raphael of the Turtles. Again, Tokka and Rahzar, they're bigger, they're bulkier, and likeness-wise, NECA has done a phenomenal job giving us something special. For the special 2-pack, Tokka and Rahzar are two of the most memorable characters in Turtles history, and these have definitely been done right. Overall, I think Tokka and Rahzar are phenomenally done. I think we can all agree on that. Just look at how well these came out, the attention to detail, the movie likeness. These were well worth the wait for 30 years. A lot of fans have been hoping for these characters to enter the line since NECA announced it. And these are definitely worth the wait. I promise you will love them. Hopefully, if you had a chance to place that pre-order last summer. And if not, as I said back at the beginning of the review, as of January 2021, there's no current plans to do another pre-order for Tokka and Rahzar or a reissue of some kind. So what I would suggest to you is to hit up NECA Toys on social media and just ask them very politely to please reissue Tokka and Rahzar. If enough people do it, I think the better the chances. So hopefully we will see a reissue of these someday for the people that missed out on the pre-order, and because NECA is a company that wants to get these figures into your hands. They're really good like that, and I think they've proven themselves with offering previous reissues from Comic-Con, usually at former San Diego exclusives were offered again through other outlets such as GameStop. So hopefully we'll see something like that for Tokka and Rahzar. Again, thank you to NECA Toys for providing these for review. We greatly appreciate that. I am Anthony Scott of ToyHypeUSA.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you agree that Tokka and Rahzar are perfect representations of the movie. You gotta love these figures. You gotta love this line. You gotta love NECA, and hopefully you guys are out there buying these figures up, and I think most of you are, because it's one of the most popular lines on the market right now. Please check out the written portion and photo gallery of this review. Link in the YouTube description, or if this video is embedded on the site, it's just below. Thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for more coverage.